everybody. This is Nate with a Backcountry Beer Review. Feels good to be out. I'm in Capulin Peak right now. There are like 100 mountains in New Mexico that go by the name of Capulin. This is the one near Gallina, New Mexico, which is kind of on the northwest side of the Jemez Mountains. It's a P1K, peak of 1,000 feet of prominence or more. Some pretty nice views to the north, to the west, to the south. But obviously it's tree covered. We're not above tree line here. It's only at around 9,200 feet. So we're not really getting views straight to the north or to the east. But that's all right. I really like this view and I just like being out. As you know, I broke my ankle about 3.5 months ago now. It's been a long journey and it's just nice. It's really, really nice to be doing something like this independently. No gimmicks, not having to, crutch around or anything like that. Just being able to walk for the most part, hobble anyway. And anyway, long spiel. Sorry about that. Lager summer is over. Today, the day I'm filming this, is actually the first day of fall, September 22nd. I've kind of done this thing in the past where, I review a pumpkin beer every fall. I grew up, or kind of came of age, beer drinking age, in the era when pumpkin beers were all the rage. It's not really the case anymore. I find that very few breweries kind of openly make pumpkin beer, or at least package and distribute it. And, in New Mexico, as far as I know, there is only one packaged and distributed pumpkin beer, and it is this Pumpkin Noir, by Marble Brewery in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Marble, one of the more classic breweries in New Mexico. I reviewed them a few times, but not recently. I think it's been over 2 years since I last reviewed Marble by my count. But they are an excellent brewery. Their Pumpkin Noir, it is, as you can tell, is very pumpkin-y, very in theme, Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. It's a spiced ale. So right away you get some, I think there's an interesting thing to note there. But anyway, let's read the back. It says, Our Lady of Darkness always chooses the perfect slice of pumpkin pie. Heads have been known to roll around here until we achieve the perfect balance of carbonized fruit, delicate spice, and velvet viscosity. So the thing I find a little bit interesting is that it's saying it's a spiced ale, but it's called Pumpkin Noir. So it's probably going to be dark, if not jet black, when you open it. So I'm a little bit confused. It seems to me like it would maybe be a porter or stout. So why call it a spiced ale? I don't know the backstory behind that. I'd be very interested to know. If you know, let me know in the comments. But let's open this up and enjoy the first backcountry beer review in over 3 months that is being done on 2 legs. All right, time for a sip. It is a pretty unique beer. I can see why they just kind of call it an ale. I do think it's probably a porter, and maybe they just don't want to call it porter. I read once somewhere that porters, for some reason, people just don't like porters. The initial flavor is really this rich caramel, rich toffee, rich molasses. So carbonic and so sugary that it's almost like burnt marshmallow to me. I'm getting just a lot of sweetness really at the outset. But definitely as the flavor profile evolves, that sweetness really goes away quickly. And after that, I get a lot of these tannic bitter notes, almost woodsy. And I think that might be the pumpkin kind of coming through a bit. I know it's brewed with pumpkin and spices. I pick up the spices a little bit, not really that much. I kind of just get this cloviness, but that's about it. Really, yeah, that pumpkin is coming through as woodsy, fruity. Let's take another sip. Yeah, at the finish, it's almost, I am definitely getting the spices. I don't know if it's from the spice, but I am getting this pepperiness on the finish. That fruitiness towards the finish before it kind of goes bitter is almost like this baking cocoa type fruitiness, and then that, I guess, lends itself to the bitterness that follows. It is very chocolatey at the end. While at the beginning, it's kind of got that maltiness. At the end, it's much more in the chocolate world. Like I said, it's an interesting beer. I personally could do for more pumpkin, more spice, but that's just me personally. I do think it's a quality beer, and it's pretty enjoyable. It's definitely, they released it in August, which personally I think is a little early. I mean, it's still 90 plus degrees in Santa Fe in August, probably more in Albuquerque. up here on this late September day. It's actually kind of warm on top of a mountain. So this is really lends itself more to that October, late September realm than when they actually release it. But still, like I said, very good beer. I enjoy it. Cheers, have a backcountry beer for me.